Hello, welcome to the queue. Operation Casino Royale. What would have been turn 11? That would have been my purchase. However, the Axis have surrendered. Um, After several turns of Japan taking some beatings on the casualties, on the turn right here, turn 11, they went in here to Philippines and lost everything and quit the battle before losing everything. They only had, I think, just a mountain left. Maybe that marine. I'm not sure now that I set it up. But I still had my defensive role for these two, and this guy had survived. So it could be that they would have to take planes maybe to get that, even if they did take it with one. Um, Probably, well, that would be it. That would be their only forces in the South Pacific, as they have a transport up there in Russia, and I think one there in Japan. So they could have got a couple guys down, but they really couldn't come down to the Pacific because this KMT stack here on the card is almost in Nanking, CCP in Russia almost in Rihe. So there's this stack here is about to be cut off. Would have to retreat back one way or the other, or both, maybe. I don't know. Um, just the casualties that Japan was taking was a little overwhelming on the land units, and hard to get them in play. So um, that and Italy was starting to get squished a little bit. You can see some of the battles that I had set up that Britain was going to do. We were going to take a few points away from Italy this turn, and probably on the next turn the rest of them. Just because we were going to move some of our fleet down here into the Red Sea uh, to help the South Africans finish off this area. Um, and then we were going to take out Iraq and then the Middle East, the rest of the Middle East there next turn. So, um, I mean, our fighters were coming over to help from FEC, but then they were going to fly back. Um, yeah, one, two. Yeah, they had range to get back. So the following turn, all the attention now will come over here against Japan, especially with their weakened conditions. Um, and, pretty much a stalemate up there in Northern Europe. We were going to shift some Navy around, so move some escorts. We had to protect some American transports coming over. We were going to set up in a sea zone and watch over them. There's a couple German subs floating around the Pacific there. The interesting note of this game was that Moscow did fall, but if you look at the forces, it doesn't seem to have mattered. um, it held them back. They had one turn where they couldn't do a purchase, so um, they lost. I forget what they lost as far as income, like 46 or something. But when you took out all the Axis units that participated and were extinguished, they were about 40. So it was kind of a trade-off of units that obviously the Russians can rebuild a little quicker. There is a decent force here in the south, and what I really wanted to see was the Leningrad push there. It looks like they were going to push for a surrounding finishing attack, on this next turn, and getting the two French transports on the Vichy ship roll was huge because they were able to move 8 units over to Finland and Sweden, and then another 8 on this last turn, and it's really able to get a lot of ground units, up around Leningrad, which you don't normally see. So, kind of was hoping to see Finland, or see Finland. Finland did fall. See Leningrad fall, um, but I'm pretty sure there's a decent force there that could probably take it back. And at that point, Germany might be on the defensive, um, unless they can keep this southern force, somewhat of a threat. Whether it's Stalingrad or Transcaucasia. Oral Kursk looks pretty solid for now, but it is what it is. Italy had pulled back, and they were starting to send German units down to help because the U.S. was on its way over. And I believe the plans were to take some Italian territories on this turn, with reinforcements following up. And I think we were not going to do the Portugal move at this point. Although I guess we could have with all these transports. We were going to stack up here, so maybe Portugal was an option, but we didn't get that far. So anyway, that's Casino Royale. Like I said, the unique thing in this game was Moscow falling, and Japan being really destroyed unit-wise. Not every turn, but a lot of turns. There was a lot of Japanese ground units cashing it in. Russia was able to hold on. They were getting the squeeze from all three Axis nations again. Not as hard with Italy, but they did open up the door to the Moscow attack. But anytime you lose your capital and your income, that hurts. So, but I think Russia probably in a turn or two would have recovered nicely. And then, who knows where things might have gone. But as the victory point stands right now, it was Russia 3 and Axis 7 and the Allies 7. So, but the deciding factor is the Axis surrendered. So that gives the Allies the lead, and we will be starting a game. I don't know what it's called, but it's going to be a couple weeks. We got some travel, so a lot of people have some travel and stuff going on here in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So it'll be a couple weeks, and we'll be back at it with another game of Global War 36, version 4.1. Stay tuned.